My name is Dr. Syrus Marcus Ware, and I'm an artist and an activist and a scholar. I'm an assistant professor at the School of the Arts at McMaster University. I'm a trans, disabled, mad, queer person who's been making work for about 27 years, about as long as I've been an activist. And I use he, him pronouns. I'm a parent, and I'm really active in the community in Toronto. I started making work at a very young age because my mom's an artist. And she really encouraged us to draw and to paint and to get involved in making work that we wanted to make. And so, as an emerging artist, I would have to say I started at an early age, but it wasn't really until 2012, I would have to say, I was invited to be part of a big activation of Cinenova, which is this feminist film archive in the UK, and the Power Plant and AGYU and the FAG, the Feminist Art Gallery, run by Alison Mitchell and Judy Logue, had invited me to come and be part of this all hands on the archives activation. And it was at that performance that I created for the first time Activist Love Letters, which went on to become this series that I have been running for quite a long time now. The thing I would say is that creativity definitely makes activism the best that it can be. And so I'm thinking of the incredible, very visual aesthetics of some of the sort of the queer and trans movement, liberation movement here in Taekwondo. I'm thinking of the poster for the early gay picnic at Hanlon's that has and exhibitions that come out of the archives that sort of document this beautiful history. I'm thinking about some of the incredible visual activisms of the BLM movement that for the last 12 or 15 years have really shaped a lot of how we visualize activism and creative practice. And those are all because artists were involved in those movements, and so we're able to see the benefit of using creative approaches to tell big stories and to decipher big messages for a broad audience. And then similarly, I think that our creative practice, our artistic work, is made so much more interesting when we make it about things that are happening in the world, when we make it about the kinds of changes we want to see in the world. And so, in these portraits, I'm drawing portraits of activists 12 or 8 or 12 feet tall to celebrate them and honor them. And it's, to me, much more interesting than, drawing a table. I could draw anything. I chose to draw something that would sort of inspire future generations to say, one, I want to care about these people and their survival, and two, I too can get involved in making change happen. So I've been really interested in the possibility of what happens when you bring these two mediums together. They make activism better and they make art better. If you're ever in an opportunity to be in a leadership role where you get to make decisions about what is shown, where it's shown, how it's shown, what goes with what is shown in terms of didactics or interpretation, those are always opportunities to bring in voices that have been under-recognized in the arts. So we say under-recognized because we've been here, we just haven't been recognized, So these voices that have been under-recognized in the arts, you have an opportunity to bring in artists that maybe aren't always getting, maybe bring in some emerging artists who don't always get the opportunities. The proudest moments in my career so far would have to be, I've had some pretty amazing things happen, and I'm very thankful to have won some art awards, and I've been able to have some solo shows, and that's really important. But my proudest moment was my daughter just came and visited me on Fogo Island, and I don't know if anybody here is familiar with tweens or with Gen Z, but if you make it onto their Instagram story, you have made it. And so she made a big on the grid post about the drawings and talking about our project and talking about what it is that we're working on, because all of these drawings are of trans people across the country. And she was celebrating that, and she wanted to tell her friends and wanted to tell her community. And I thought, oh my God, that's it. That's all I've ever wanted, is to make something that would make my daughter proud and make her want to share it with her friends. What you're going to make is your unique thing that could be the next big thing, and you want to, don't distill your light or your beam just to fit in with somebody else. So I would say follow what you're curious about and to do what you want to make. And then, it's often this struggle, especially as queer artists, not everybody has the most supportive home situation. So sometimes we're leaving home at a young age. So we're starting out with a different economic situation sometimes than our peers. And so you can get in a situation where it's like, when I'm working, I have the money to make the work, but no time to make it. And when I'm not working, I have the time to make the work, but no money to make it with. And that can be a real struggle. But I would say in those moments, to really just remember that this is an ebb and flow, and that the feast and famine, but the feast will come again, and to just keep going. Working on this project, Flowers While We're Living, with my mom, Susan Ware, who's also an artist. And she's actually one of the first people who ever took me to Gwartzman's when I was a kid. And we are working on this series of portraits of trans people across Northern Turtle Island in Canada. And they're all being painted with their favorite flowers through a concept that we know in trans community that's called Flowers While We're Living, which is this idea that trans people should be given flowers while they're alive and not only in grief and mourning. And so we've been doing these portraits of Vivek Sharaya, Bear Bergman, Raven Wings, this is VK Kwan, and we're going to do a bunch more. So there's one person from every province, and we're just going to continue drawing. And so we're working on that right now. We're also making a short film with Michelle Lau, documenting the process and documenting the drawings and interviewing these incredible trans folks about their favorite flowers and about their dreams for trans futures. And we've been working on this at Fogo Island Arts. We've been here in residency since May 1st, and we're here till June 30th, and that feels really exciting. And so 2 of the drawings are already going to an exhibition in Victoria called The Chorus is Speaking, which is going to be put up in the fall. So we're looking forward to getting some drawings shipped off to go to that. I would love to invite everybody to come and see this work when it's up in Toronto, when it's up in Ontario, which hopefully will be soon. I have a play coming up at the Theatre Centre next February that is a story about sort of an intergenerational family and life together in activism across different generations. And I have a kids book out called Abolition is Love, which is drawn by Elena Fricker and written by me, and teaches families how to talk about abolition with their kids. So I encourage you to check all of those things out. I'm very active on the socials, as they say, on Instagram. I think it's at Syrus Marcus. And I do have a website, which, like most artists, is very out of date, cyrusmarcusware.com. I hope that everyone has an incredible and amazing Pride, and that you feel celebrated and honored being exactly as you are. You are amazing, and you're doing the thing. So happy Pride to everybody. Have a beautiful, beautiful queer celebration. And remember, the first Pride was a riot.